everyone, welcome back to Decor. Last week we made a custom ocean letter, and this week we are going to be making a floral letter. These letters are new in the shop and they can be customized with the flowers that you want and any additional inclusions. This one is an E that I made with purple flowers and gold flakes, and they have they're preserved in a wooden frame of your letter. And the letters I laser cut myself. Today we are going to be making a K. This is 10 3/4 inches tall, so it's pretty big for resin, at least. It takes a lot of resin. But I will show you how I make them and the behind the scenes process. Let's get started. When we work with frames, we want to make sure that there's something underneath for the resin to cure on, and that the sides are sealed to prevent the resin from seeping out of the frame. For that, we will be using this green resin tape. I got this off Amazon and it is called resin tape. I will add the link to the description if you want to use this tape as well. They often come in 2 inches wide since it's mostly used for jewelry. I used the 2-inch wide resin tape for my previous jewelry making video. This one is 5 inches wide and I haven't been able to find any wider, so I will need to double up on the tape to make sure it fits the letter frame. Make sure to press down on the sides and around the frame against the tape really tight to prevent any leaking. Trim off any excess tape to make it easier to work with. A note on this tape is that it's really not that sticky, which is perfect because it doesn't leave that sticky layer of tape in your pieces. I've noticed with some other tapes that if we use it to hold resin like this, the sticky layer will separate from the tape and leave some unwanted residues in the piece. This does not, so that's why I like it, but also it's not that sticky. So you really want to make sure that the frame is secured to the tape. If it leaks, it's not that bad to clean up for these wood frames, but it may be difficult for other materials. That's just something I want to note. Once we are done prepping the frame for resining with the tape, we are ready to pour. This is the resin that we are using, and I mixed it up beforehand to save us some time. This resin is Totable's high performance resin. I actually ran this resin through a bubble remover machine, so it's insanely clear. I will link both in the description, and I will be discussing the bubble remover in my next video as well, so keep an eye out for that. If you want to try out this resin, which is my go-to resin, using my link will give you a discount at checkout, so don't forget to use my link. Right now I am mixing up some gold flakes for this letter K, and I will be using the gold flakes after I place the flowers. This is actually an order and the client requested this summer flower mix and gold flakes. If you like how this K turns out, you can select that combination when you customize your letters in the shop. Everything is ready and we'll create a beautiful floral arrangement and then add the gold flakes. Now we are in the second layer, and for the first layer, we didn't fill the frame all the way up to the top because flowers will float to the surface. So for this second layer, about 5 to 6 hours later, I will fill the entire cake with clear resin and I will let that fully harden for 2 to 3 days. I will be doing another clear layer in the back, so I want to make sure that this piece is fully cured. I need to be able to work with the piece and add a glue protection layer to the front without worrying about ruining the letter. This is pretty much like top coating a piece, so I started off by pouring a little bit of resin in the middle of the frame, following the outline of the cake, and then spreading the resin out to the edges. I add more resin slowly if I need to. This is to minimize and hopefully avoid spilling resin over the edges. I wave my heat gun around to pop any of the bubbles that are on the surface, and now several days later we can peel the tape off and clean up any spills. We did have some resin spill in the 2 middle points of the cake from the second layer that we did. We will clean that up by using some heat to loosen up the resin and then snipping them off. I am using a wire cutter to snip off the extra resin, and I'm sure there are better tools out there for this step, but the wire cutter is what I have, so that is what I'm using. The heat helps a lot to make this step easier. I just focus the heat on the area that I need to clean up, so I'm not ruining the rest of the piece. And then carefully snip off the extra resin. As I'm cleaning up the resin spill, I just want to point out that you'll notice an uneven surface on the back of this K, somewhat wavy areas because the tape was not fully flat. It's really difficult to get such a large piece of tape to be fully flat, and the bezel is so thin. There is also a slight line where the 2 pieces of tape meet. It's not very visible here, and also just a slight matte appearance. These are the reasons that I add another layer of resin to the back of these frames. It will even out the back and make it extra shiny, and then the whole piece will be even, flat, and shiny. I don't post this step on my Instagram, so many people think I just do 1 layer with the flowers in the frame and that's the end of it, perfect piece, but that is far from the truth, as you can see here. This is just not really interesting stuff or satisfying content, so I don't post it on Instagram, but I just want to point that out. There's a lot more that goes into each piece than what we see on social media in a 30-second reel. Now this snipping was just a rough cleanup of the spill. We will sand the parts where we snipped off the extra resin. The snipping was a quick way to remove larger chunks of resin. It's rough and it's not the cleanest because I just wanted to get most of it off. Now the sanding will clean it up better and smooth it out. This is just a snippet of the sanding. I ripped off a piece of sandpaper and I glued it to a popsicle stick to help with this step because the area that needs to be sanded is so tight. And again, I want to be really careful not to ruin the front of the piece that is perfect right now. Okay, so we skipped a few steps to get here because I was in a rush to complete this K along with some other pieces, so I will explain what is missing. Off camera, I applied the glue protection layer, which is this matte layer in front of this K that you see right here. I applied it to the front of this piece to protect it from the resin drips during the top coat, which I also did off camera. You can see the drips around the sides and in the center, the 2 points of the K. These drips are stuck to the glue layer, so now we will peel the glue off and reveal a clean and complete K. I have top coating videos on my channel where I show the glue layer and how I top coat. I explain the process to that as well, and it's also steps in my previous videos, so you can check out my channel for more information if you need regarding the glue and the top coating process. This is our completed letter K. Front and back are smooth and the letter is super shiny, crystal clear. I'm really loving how this letter turned out. Let's see this beauty in a different lighting. All of my letters comes with command strips for hanging if you want to hang them on the wall, or you can lean them on a desk or shelf against the wall. I have 4 different flower options as of now, and you can choose between 3 different flakes. If you watched my previous videos, there's definitely a lot more that I can do. I'm totally open to more specific customizations. If you want other colors, certain butterflies, other designs you have in mind, send me an email with some details and we can discuss further. Here is the K in outdoor lighting on a shady day. Let me know what you think about this floral letter in the comments. And that is how we make our custom floral letters. This is the letter K with our summer mix and gold flakes. If you are interested in a custom floral letter yourself, you can get them at ellaful.com. And if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And let me know down in the comments below what you want to see next. I'll see you next time.